Welcome to HP Tuners Subaru Training Part 6. In this training tutorial, we're going to be focusing on how to actually data log, starting to data capture with our VCM scanner software, and then learning how to work with histogram and chart versus time, learning actually how to build them and making sure that we understand how to use them properly. We have a lot to cover. Let's jump in so we can check this out.
Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look at working with our VCM scanner software. Once again, the previous tutorial we looked at going in and having our extended data stream set and starting to build out some of our configuration channels that we're bringing in some of the PID channels specific for logging on a Subaru. Now we're ready to take a look at going into the next step and getting a little bit more advanced with the VCM scanner. We're going to start to take a look at our histogram and our chart versus time, which we can find up top here. This is going to be a histogram and the bottom is going to be a chart versus time. These allow us to look at the data that we're capturing in our channels here in a little bit different format from each other. They're both incredibly powerful for spotting trends in the data or for going in and calibrating tables, such as our mass airflow table, our volumetric efficiency table, working within our spark timing tuning, or even our boost control. We're going to talk about a couple examples here of building some custom histograms and a little bit in the video. But let's first understand the purpose of a histogram and a purpose of a chart versus time. So the histogram here, if we're taking a look at my particular screen, and your screen's not going to look like this because you're not going to have these layouts. These layouts are specific for a GM. We're actually going to get rid of these layouts and start all over again here so I can show you how to build a custom histogram. But either way, let's just take a look here. If I'm looking in my histogram here, we're going to find this particular example is of a GM spark timing table. And that's not really relevant to a Subaru. However, if we're looking at just the purpose of this table, we're going to find the load axis on the spark timing is going to be in cylinder air mass on a GM, and the top axis is going to be on engine speed. And we see all these points in the table. They're little blank cell points. These are actually the individual points of the table. If we're looking at a spark timing table, it's replicating the table in terms of all of the load breakpoints and the RPM breakpoints, and allows us to overlay data and plotting it into the spark timing table. This can allow us to plot something like our knock retard right into the table and pinpoint the location of where we started to get knock in our spark timing tuning. So this allows us to overlay the data that we're capturing here in our specific channels that we're logging and bring it into a histogram and start to build out an actual table. Now, this will make a little bit more sense once we start to go through and build out the table and look at the purpose of how it's going to work and logging with it and being able to use it to interpret data. The histograms will allow us to populate and tune very efficiently when we're looking at a specific task such as spark timing, boost control, or fuel tuning. So it's going to be the purpose of it. And again, might seem kind of overwhelming right now. It's actually quite simple to create. We'll look at how to do some custom histograms here. I'm going to be providing custom histograms as well as we go through some more training tutorials here when we're looking at specific tasks such as volumetric efficiency tuning or mass airflow tuning or boost control tuning. We're going to find that we have a custom layout that you can just load. It'll be found right into the HP Tuners course folder. I haven't created the entire folder yet. I'm just going through and building out the course right now, but that will be available to you as soon as you start to take a look and view the training course once it's released. Now down below here we have a chart versus time. The chart versus time allows us to plot the data graphically. So here we're just capturing the data. We can watch what's going on with it. We can play it back. That's not really useful. What we want to do is sometimes plot it, not necessarily in a histogram, but in a chart versus time. So a chart versus time can plot things like engine speed, boost pressure, throttle angle, air fuel, and you can spot trends when you plot the data in a graphical format. So it's the same kind of concept in terms of just transforming the data that we're capturing in our channels and going in and bringing it into the software here in a slightly different manner to allow better interpretation of the data and spotting trends quicker and being more efficient with our calibration process. But it's going to be in a slightly different format than a histogram. So let's go in here and take a look at creating a custom histogram and a custom chart versus time. This is pretty straightforward. Now the first thing I'm going to do here is clear out all of my existing histograms in my graph menu here. This is pretty straightforward. If I go and right click here, go to graph layouts, this allows me to go in here and delete all the layouts. Now you're most likely going to have at least 1 or 2 layouts in your list as defaults when you open your software up. I'm going to go in here and use my remove graph button. We can see where I'm highlighted. That's going to delete my first histogram. So I'm gonna
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.